Good morning. What's up, Fantasy Football Advice Network Nation? Fantasy Forecast watchers, bigz fans, cocktail fans, fantasy football players. It's Breakfast with Bigz. How are you guys doing? It's early. It's about 7:58. I decided to go on a little bit early, but like Chris Hansen says, I want to tell you, strap in for the next 30 minutes of commercial-free me. I came on early for two reasons. Number one, I want to get this cocktail recipe out of the way. I know you're all waiting with bated breath. Get your starts and sits questions into the chat right now. I will address them based on the data, because that's what I do is I bring you data-driven, unhinged bullshit. And let's get to it. So real quickly to start off, we're going to get to the latest updates. These were updated as of 7 a.m. Eastern, so right around 4 hours ago. Miles Sanders is out. Not a lot of you had Miles Sanders in anyway. Adam Thielen is questionable, as is the rest of his career. He's been activated. He did practice this week. He's probably going to be reduced. Jalen Coker is a game-time decision, so keep an eye on that. DeAndre Swift practiced in full Friday. He's likely going to split carries with Roschon Johnson. I know that we all wanted him to be totally out unless we had him. But Roschon Johnson fans, Roschon Johnson stands. We all wanted DeAndre Swift to not play. Rest your groin. It's a groin is a tough injury. Keenan Allen is questionable, and he got hurt on Friday. He got hurt in practice on Friday, so that's up in the air. Jake Ferguson is out. Isaiah Pacheco will not play. They'll wait one more week. The Chiefs will wait one more week. Josh Oliver. Oh, gosh. Josh Oliver is out. Malik Neighbors is expected to play. So is Darius Slayton. Tommy Cutlets, he's got his receivers. Mike Evans is back, and Tyjae Spears is out. And the funniest thing to me in all of sports, kicker injuries. Austin Seibert, or as they say in France, Austin Seibert, he is questionable. They put kicker Zane Gonzalez back on the practice squad, so that means that Seibert is likely to play. The only other things, that's all the early slate games. Brock Purdy is out for the late games. Zamir White and Alexander Madison are both still doubtful. So fire up Dylan Laube. I read an interesting tweet yesterday, and it was a list of guys who in their careers fumbled on their first ever carry. And the list is long with Hall of Famers, and guess who else fumbled on his first ever carry? That's right, you guessed it, Dylan Laube. So Hall of Fame career. All right, I see the chat is going wild. Let's get to this cocktail recipe, you guys. Okay, so right now it's almost winter time. That's first of all. Second, down here in the States, it is Thanksgiving week. And so you're going to be with a lot of family and everything. Some of us need that little extra boost to get through our relationship navigation. Some of us just like delicious things. This is very similar to eggnog. It's called a bourbon milk punch. The only thing difference is that eggnog is usually made with more different liquors, plus it's aged, and there is eggs in it. This is no eggs, whatever. But I'm gonna show you this recipe. It's pretty damn good, and I'm gonna do a variation. I'm gonna do two different versions this morning. So the first one, we're gonna go with basically you put in 2 ounces of bourbon, and this I had to bring all the ingredients and stuff upstairs. I didn't want to lug the extra bottle of vanilla extract, so I just put it straight into the bourbon. So this is about a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 2 ounces of bourbon. And then you go with 3 ounces of milk. So you can use cream if you want it to be extra thick. I'm using half and half. All right, and then le pièce de résistance, as they say in France, and this is a treat for our neighbor from our neighbors north of the border. Shout out Mike Lindbergh. This is true Canadian maple syrup. All right, and you're going to want to do 2 ounces of that. Now, I did go ahead and omit the simple syrup. I figured simple syrup and maple syrup, that's a little bit much. And here's the thing. So this is perfect for like Thanksgiving or like brunch. And that's what I bring you here on Breakfast with Bigz, is the brunch cocktails. So you're gonna shake it up. And last week I put ice in the shaker and realized the camera probably hurt your ears. So this is just straight up. Everything's still cold, but and I also didn't bring out the strainer because there's nothing to strain. You're going to want to get a coupe glass. A lot of people call it a titty glass. And you're going to pour that bad boy in there. Now, here's the other thing that makes it so versatile, is that you can throw a raw egg in there, and then it becomes more like eggnog. And don't be afraid of raw eggs in your cocktails. Whiskey sours with a raw egg white are the best. Now, here, let's go nutmeg on top. Boom, boom, boom. Cheers. Oh, that's good. It's very, very close to an eggnog, just without the egginess. All right. Pearsall or Kraft and Flex? Kraft. Sorry. Thanks for checking in, Tootsie Pop. Always good in the chat. And yeah, I'm going with Kraft. Good morning, Shannon Carter. Hey, Shannon. Bucky, Waddle, or Abdullah in the flex? I got to go Bucky. He has been hurt. I don't have a lot of faith in Abdullah, and I am a Raiders fan. He's going against a really, really tough defense. Waddle is so up and down. I don't know if we can. I don't know. All right. So I'm going Bucky. Just he gets the inside runs in Tampa, and that should be kind of a shootout type game. Waddle is mercurial and hard to put a pin in, and Abdullah, I've been saying all week, I have a feeling that Dylan Laube is going to outpoint Abdullah. Angie, what's up? Best Coast. Angie Hatfield, my SFB live draft compadre. Okay, I guess that's genderless. Morning Bigz, have you heard anything about Roquan Smith? I have not. Oh, this morning, Sports Illustrated might be, I love how concrete they are, might be, may not, could be without Roquan Smith. He left last week, didn't practice during the week, which doesn't bode well for his ability against, so, yeah, keep an eye on that in your IDP leagues, and hopefully you're not playing against me. See Zuzu1, what's up? Kittle or Bowers this week? Okay, I'm going to leave my Raiders bias out of this. I am just going to tell you that the Raiders don't have much offense apart from Brock Bowers. That's the first thing. Got a line of glasses over at Zenny. He's got the long hair. Bowers is kind of bald. I don't know if you want to make a decision based on like how good they look in their uniforms. However you play it, I think you can't go wrong. You have two good options. But I do like Bowers over Kittle. I mean, he's been tight end one. You kind of have to like go with it. But could I see George Kittle outscoring Brock Bowers? Absolutely. All right. So let me get another. All right, just in case you are a new viewer or whatever, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us on fantasysportsadvice.com, download the app, get your membership going, fire it up, and then next year you can be in our Jersey leagues. Also, navy and gold, blue and gold for the University of California, Berkeley and Davis. Both of them won in their rivalry games yesterday. Davis securing a FCS playoff. Cal beating Stanford on a 98-yard end-of-game drive to launch them into the bowls. Okay, now I told you this recipe is versatile, and I'm going to go one further. So, yes, hanging out with your family, making some bourbon punch, that's fantastic. But you know what? If you need an eye-opener and you're going to get your day started, why don't you go ahead and throw that bourbon punch into some cold brew or even hot coffee. Boom. And then you have a nice coffee drink. And look, it's bourbon punch, and it's from the Punchline, the comedy club that I perform at. Or one of them anyway. Oh, that's good. So I took some cold brew. I put in a couple shots of coffee liqueur. Again, more sweetness. So you don't need the simple syrup. And that bourbon punch is sweet enough. Yeah, it's totally sweet enough. You do not need simple syrup. But I will say, and next time I might do this, I'm not getting the maple syrup. Maybe it's just because it's Canadian maple syrup. Maybe if I used Vermont or New Hampshire maple syrup, it would be more pronounced. Because we all know that that's where the best maple syrup comes from, is not Canada, but New England. Hey, Mike. Wink. Yeah, so serve that bourbon milk punch for all your family this Thanksgiving. Also, anybody who's into making eggnog, I make homemade eggnog every year. It's like a quart of bourbon, a quart of rum, a cup of brandy, cream, and I batch it, make a huge thing, and then whenever I want to make it per glass, I will account for a specific amount of egg white, cream, all that stuff. So I'll make the batch, and then I pour it into a shaker. I add the egg white to serve. But there's so much booze in it that if you add the eggs and then let it sit, you can age it for I've aged it up to 3 or 4 years, I think. But you want to make it now because it needs some time to cure before Christmas. So now's the time to do that, you eggnog freaks like me. All right, see Zuzu. Another question: Mahomes or Love rest of season? That's a great question. Quick to the data. I'm going to look at Mahomes first. Mahomes. And his matchups include Carolina this week, Vegas next week, then the Chargers, Cleveland, Houston, and Pittsburgh. So that's not terrible. And then Jordan Love, rest of the season, he's got San Francisco this week, Miami, Detroit, Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota. Mahomes has the best matchups. Yeah. But I like, where are they at? Love is currently QB 19. Mahomes is down there as well. 13. Yeah, let's go Mahomes. Never thought I'd say that. Go Mahomes. All right, 702 B-side. Start 2. DKJSN Downs. Rain in the Seattle forecast. I think it's funny that I'm up here in the 530 wearing Raiders gear, and then you're down there in the 702 and you got a 49ers shield. It's like we cancel each other out. All right, DKJSN Downs. I got to go DK and Downs. But thank you for your question, 702 B-side. You just have to, like, I love JSN, and his upside is phenomenal. We knew that coming out in the draft, that he was the cream of the crop in that wide receiver class. He does everything that you want a wide receiver to do on that field. But the way that the Seattle offense is structured, everything runs through DK. So kind of like Duncan Metcalf. And then and I love Downs. And Downs and Anthony Richardson is a match made in heaven, so I like that. And Scotty McChotty, you look like a guy that enjoys 4-year-old eggnog, you weirdo. Thank you, Scotty. Scotty's my friend. I like Scotty so much. And I appreciate that. I am a guy that enjoys 4-year-old eggnog. I also like 10-minute, 15, 16-minute old eggnog-ish. Eggnog adjacent. All right. Any other questions, you guys? You're all set? You're all champions already? You don't need anything else? Because I'm not going anywhere for like the next 12 minutes. Stay tuned for Spilled Coffee. That's also on Fantasy Football Advice Network. Again, follow us on YouTube at Fantasy Football Advice Network as well. You can download the FantasySportsAdvice.com app and start your pro membership today. It is pretty fantastic. It's a lot of like really good interaction with the content creators, with the analysts, and you know, let me just break it down for you guys. We're here. We are here. We are here. No, shout out Mater. Dan Mater, the voiceover of our Fantasy Sports Advice Network. There you are, Corey. I knew you'd be here eventually. But my point was, what we do is we put in the work. We look at the data. We scour the internets. We do all that so that you don't have to. So all you have to do, we spend the week doing that. So you can just tune in for half an hour or an hour on the weekend, whatever, and get everything, get all the knowledge that we are trawling for over the course of the week. Look at this, Grindberg. I don't know if you missed it, but at the beginning, it's what I put in my cocktail from Canada. This is from the La Pierre Maple Farm, 99 Rue de l'Escale, Saint-Luger, Quebec, Canada. Okay. Angie, I appreciate a guy who understands just how much breakfast booze it takes to successfully navigate extended family over the holidays. Cheers. Cheers, Angie. All right. We got some Grindberg likes the Canadian maple syrup. And don't tell him, everybody, but maybe if he missed the beginning where I put the maple syrup in the cocktail, he also missed when I slandered Canadian maple syrup and said Vermont and New Hampshire maple syrup were the best. All right. Corey, Mixon or Tracy? You got to go Mixon. I don't need Corey. let me ask you a question. When you are dealing with something in an industry, any industry, I don't care if it's fantasy football, fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball, fantasy hockey, I don't care. 100-meter dash, whatever. You have the number one ranked person. Do you ever swap them out for somebody who's not the number one ranked person? No, Corey. But hey, love you, Corey. Keep asking questions because that's how we make you a champion. And that's what we're here to do at the Fantasy Forecast, is to build champions. All right. Grindberg, Lauby, Butte, or Noah Brown? I think you know what I'm going to say. You can't argue with Butte's targets of late. You can't. Lauby is a shot in the dark. He's an absolute dart throw. This isn't your Duke's Classic lineup that we are playing against each other, is it? It better not be. I'm not giving you advice on that one. If it's that one, then I say start Noah Brown. All right. No. Okay. But your lineup is formidable this week. Kareem Hunt with no Pacheco, Drake May, who's Josh Allen light, Josh Downs, Malik Neighbors, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Trey McBride, Zay Flowers, Derrick Henry, Patrick Mahomes. Bro, how am I even going to beat you? With my Jaden Daniels, Tyrone Tracy, Romo Dunze, Travis Kelce, Ladd McConkey, Jaden Reed, Nico Collins, Kenneth Walker, Kenneth Murray, or Kyler Murray. I'm not going to beat you. You're too good, Mike. You're too good. Corey, Laporta or Andrews? Man, why you got to give me the hard ones? All right, Detroit is facing the Colts. And Balmer is facing the Chargers. And the Chargers are 6th best in points allowed to tight ends. Indy is towards the bottom. You got to go Laporta. Based on recent usage, necessity, I see. I go Laporta. All right, and Downs or Sutton? Well, okay. That's tough because Jacorian Bennett, who has been the Raiders' best cover corner, is out. Nate Hobbs is out, and Jack Jones will be playing, and he'll probably be the primary cover corner on Sutton. Although Cameron Richardson, if he can use his speed and length, he might be able to bestifle. I just made that word up. He's going to bestifle Cortland Sutton. Sutton against the Raiders last time, 5 points on 5 targets for 2 catches. The Raiders held him down pretty good. So I'm going Downs. I'm going Josh Downs. Mike, we've talked about this. We've been talking about this for like over a year. How much we love Josh Downs. You go Josh Downs, buddy. I hope you win, unless you are playing against me. Everybody go to dot, D-O-T, the word, dot, the period, dot, cards, / Big Boned FFB. That's where you will find links to all of my shows and Fantasy Sports Advice Network. All that stuff. Hey, Venmo, send me money for a cup of coffee. Like this one. Although that's probably a little bit more expensive than a regular cup of coffee. Corey. Let me tell you guys a little story about Corey. A story about Corey. I got bars. Corey is a graphics, a coder guy, a tech guy for Fantasy Sports Advice Network, and we all love him. He is our friend, and he's a great dude. Shout out Oklahoma. Corey watches all of Fantasy Sports Advice Network's shows and asks every single one of them all of his starts and sits questions every week. It's almost as if he relies on the entire bullpen of content creators here to set his lineups for him. And we're here for it. That's what we're here to do, is to make Corey a champion. Corey doesn't have to do the work. He doesn't have to do the analysis. He doesn't have to have the gut feelings. He doesn't have to do any of that. All he has to do is ask us questions. So be more like Corey. And no, Corey, I'm not even going to talk about the other thing. I love you. All right, Ridley or McLaurin? Worried McLaurin won't be needed. Did that one prematurely, as I am wont to do. All right, Ridley or McLaurin? So the narrative around the fantasy space this week has been that this is Jaden Daniels' return to championship level, and to do that, he's going to need to rely on McLaurin. The thing is, though, that Ridley has been getting the lion's share of the targets, and volume is key in fantasy, and they're going to be trailing. They're going to have to go to Ridley a lot. So while I like McLaurin more, I'm going to say start Ridley. As far as Corey's gut feelings, the only one he has is in his gut is hunger for more championships. That's, hey, you gotta stay hungry. All right, Lamar, Goff, or Stafford PPR. Last week I started Lamar over Goff, who went off for 57 fantasy points. True. All right, so this week what we're looking at with quarterback, I think we said Baltimore is playing against the Chargers, and Goff is playing against Indy. Shout out Jared Goff, the second best football player ever, born in Novato, California. Hashtag Novato boys. Indy gives up 19.5 points per game to quarterbacks. And the Chargers, 17. So the Chargers are a little bit more stingy against quarterbacks. So if you do want to go Goff over Lamar, I don't have a problem with that. But I will say, Lions fall behind and Goff needs to throw his way into a win. I do see a closer game with the Chargers, and so you might get some like late game shenanigans from Lamar. Plus, Lamar is, he's like a higher ranked guy. So or Stafford. Yeah, I'm not huge on Stafford, especially against Philly this week. That vanilla nice defense is, I'm not huge on Stafford this week. So I say Lamar, but if you go with Goff, I don't have a problem with that. He may have a huge week. With that, you guys, I got to get out of here. Fantasy Football Advice Network, watch Spilled Coffee, and check me out every day of the week right here on Fantasy Football Advice Network. We got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday shows with me. And I will see you next time. I hope you win.